Discover Ginger's incredible journey, from shy pup to heartwarming babysitter in just 30 days. In the quiet suburban neighborhood of Maplewood, Ginger was no ordinary rescue dog. Timid and unsure, she huddled at the back of her crate, her bright eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. But destiny had a plan. Ginger would soon embark on a remarkable journey, transforming into a beacon of comfort and companionship for a little girl named Lily. Emily, a hardworking single mother, faced daily struggles. Juggling multiple jobs left her drained, often resulting in missed dinners and tired eyes. Meanwhile, her spirited daughter, Lily, felt increasingly lonely, her laughter muted by the absence of her mother. If only there was someone to share her adventures with. Enter Ginger, a shy pup yearning for love. Despite her nervousness, an unspoken connection began to blossom. One day, as Lily sat on the floor, her dolls scattered around her, Ginger tentatively approached, her tail tucked low. Hesitant but hopeful, Lily extended her hand. Ginger sniffed, and in that moment something shifted. The spark of a bond ignited as Lily giggled and Ginger nuzzled closer, instantly captivating Lily's heart. In no time, Ginger transformed into Lily's unexpected babysitter. She accompanied Lily in her imaginative games, sprawling beside her as they held tea parties and put on puppet shows. Ginger soon found her nurturing side, easing the weight of loneliness for both herself and Lily. They were inseparable companions, sharing quiet moments in a well-worn routine. Lily would whisper secrets into Ginger's fur, and as the sun set outside, the sound of laughter resonated through their small home. But then disaster struck when their next-door neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, collapsed unexpectedly. The community rallied, voices echoing with urgency as they provided support. Meanwhile, that evening Emily arrived home late, weary from a long shift, only to walk in on a heartwarming scene. Lily, giggles spilling out, danced around the living room while Ginger pranced, tail wagging madly. Emily's heart swelled with pride. Here was her daughter, laughing freely with Ginger, a testament to their quiet family strength amidst struggles. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the days that followed, the neighborhood came together, helping one another. But it was Ginger's unassuming yet profound presence that took center stage. Suddenly, conversations surrounded her. She was no longer just a rescue dog, but a local hero. The realization dawned upon Emily: this timid pup carried within her a strength that resonated deeply in their lives. Then, in a moment of chaos, when a nearby storm struck, the community faced an overwhelming crisis. Emily clutched Lily close, glancing toward Ginger, who sensed the tension. But then deep-rooted fear clawed at her heart. What if they lost her? Just as she began to breathe, Ginger bolted into the night, leaving Emily and Lily anxious and craving for reassurance. Will Ginger return in time to remind them of her love? Can Emily and Lily come together, trusting in their bonds, or will they risk losing everything they've witnessed together? The looming questions hung in the air, and as night fell, hope beckoned. The journey had just begun. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows as Emily and Lily stood together in the dim glow of the living room. Raindrops hammered against the glass, each one a reminder of the chaos unleashed in their neighborhood. Lily held tightly to her mother's arm, her small body trembling with a mix of fear and concern for Ginger. Do you think she's okay? Lily's voice quivered like the leaves outside. It was filled with the innocence of a child who trusted that nothing bad could happen to the one she loved. Emily knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze, offering a reassuring smile that felt more like a fragile mask than a true reflection of her inner turmoil. Ginger is strong, sweetheart. She'll find her way back to us. She wouldn't leave us if she didn't have to. But inside, every minute felt like an hour. The worry was a heavy weight on her heart. She couldn't shake the image of the little dog streaking into the night, a flash of fur disappearing into the darkness. How could she have let that happen? The memory nagged at her, a constant thrum of anxiety. The storm raged on, and with each thunderclap, fear clawed at the edges of Emily's heart. Just then, A glimmer of hope flickered as she recalled Ginger's resilience during the day's events. The way she rushed to comfort Mrs. Thompson. The way she sat quietly next to Lily. The thought of her, the valiant protector of their small family, reminded Emily that Ginger's journey wasn't just about finding her place in their lives, but also about teaching them to be brave. "Let us make a little candle for Ginger," Emily suggested, trying to shift the tone of the evening. "If we light it, she'll see it and know we're waiting for her." Lily's small face brightened, her fear alleviating ever so slightly at the idea of a guiding light. They gathered a small candle from the kitchen, and Emily guided her daughter as they lit it together, watching the flickering flame dance against the shadows. "Come on, Ginger," Lily whispered softly, "we're right here." Hours passed, each tick of the clock amplifying their growing worry. Emily glanced at the door, hoping for the sound of gentle paws tapping against the hardwood. But the only sound was the ever-increasing rain, drowning her in despair. Suddenly, a break in the clouds allowed a sliver of moonlight to seep through, illuminating the room and casting a soft glow around them. Just as Emily pulled Lily close, they heard the unmistakable sound, the soft jingle of Ginger's collar. The door creaked and exploded open as Ginger dashed inside. Soaked to the skin but beaming with life, her eyes sparkling like stars. There was a moment of stillness where the world around them paused. "Ginger!" Lily squealed, her initial fear replaced by sheer joy. She leaped up, arms wide open, and Ginger bounded into them, tail wagging furiously. Emily felt a rush of relief wash over her. Their family was whole once more. "I knew you'd come back," Lily exclaimed, as she knelt and cradled Ginger in her arms, the pup nuzzling close. But just as the reunion unfolded, a distant shout echoed from outside. Emily's heart sank again. Someone was calling for help, desperate cries cutting through the thick air. "What is happening, Mom?" Lily's eyes widened, uncertainty creeping back in. Emily's heart raced. "We need to see," she paused, looking at Ginger, her instinctual protector. "Together we can help." With that, they stepped outside, hand in paw, mother and daughter, ready to face whatever came next in this storm-torn night. How deep would their courage take them? What might they uncover in the heart of their community when they united their strengths? The night whispered possibilities just beyond the shadows. The night was soaked in uncertainty, the downpour around them enveloping the three of them as they stepped from the warm glow of their home into the chilling darkness. Ginger stood tall, her ears perked up, alert to the surroundings. Emily held Lily's hand, guiding her forward, trying to infuse courage with each step. "Do you hear that?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily nodded, straining to make out the source of the cries. They were tinged with panic, a mother searching for her child. "It sounds close, Lily," she replied, her heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of the rain. "Stay close to me and Ginger." As they moved deeper into the damp night, the cries reached a crescendo. A man emerged from the shadows, his face twisted in worry. "I can't find her," he shouted, his voice breaking with desperation. "My daughter. She was right here," and now Emily's gut twisted. What happened?" she managed to ask, feeling a shiver run down her spine. "She was playing with some friends when the storm hit. I swear she was just a few feet away." His eyes darted around, searching the darkness like it would somehow yield up his missing girl. "We need to find her." With a firm squeeze of her daughter's hand, Emily felt the warmth of resolve settle in her heart. "Lily, we can help. Ginger is really good at finding people. Let us call her." Lily's eyes sharpened with determination, the fear from moments before fading. "Ginger," she called, encouraging her loyal pup. Ginger, instantly alert as shadows fell around them, ran ahead, willing to chase the scent of lost hope. "Stay close," Emily reminded, glancing at the distraught father, who was now pacing in frantic circles. "We'll work together." The rain pelted down harder, each drop a reminder of the urgency swirling around them. Ginger bounded ahead, nose to the ground, weaving left and right with purpose while the man and Emily followed as closely as they could. As they reached a small cluster of trees at the edge of the park, Ginger paused, ears perked and anxious. She let out a low bark, her body tense, eyes searching the shadows. It felt like an eternity until Emily noticed a hint of movement behind a nearby bush. "Ginger, go," Emily urged, the words bursting from her lips as her heart raced. Ginger lunged forward, having zeroed in on something hidden within the thicket. And there, curled up and soaked to the bone, was a small figure, a girl, shivering and scared. "Is that her?" The father's voice cracked, and in the glow of the moon, it was clear to see the resemblance. Lily let go of her mother's hand and rushed forward. "It's okay. We're here," she called out, kneeling beside the frightened child. "It's okay, sweetheart. We're friends," Emily said, kneeling too as Ginger cautiously approached, offering warmth and comfort. The girl blinked through the rain, eyes wide and confused, but then her expression melted into relief. "I'm scared," she whispered. As Emily and Lily wrapped their arms around her, Ginger nuzzled against her side, the embodiment of loyalty and love. The father fell to the ground beside them, tears of gratitude strong enough to withstand the storm. But the moment was fleeting. As they began to lead the girl back to safety, Emily felt the wind pick up once more, carrying with it a new sound, a distant, even more anxious cry. What now? She wondered, tightening her grip on Lily. They were now intertwined in a web of urgency, fear creeping back in. Little did they know this night was far from over. Just when they thought they had faced their biggest challenge, more surprises were waiting in the dark. Emily's heart raced with each frantic wail that cut through the pouring rain. "What is that?" she whispered, trying to make sense of the new sound. Like the earlier cries, this one was desperate. Her instincts kicked in, pushing her forward despite the heavy downpour. Ginger, still by the girl's side, perked her ears again. She seemed to sense a shift in the atmosphere, understanding that there was something urgent, yet unseen, lingering in the shadows. "Stay together," Emily urged, glancing at the father now carefully lifting his daughter into his arms, a mixture of relief and new anxiety on his face. "What if there's another child?" he stammered, his gaze darting around the park. "I can't lose anyone else." The father's anguish resonated deep within Emily, igniting a sense of purpose. "We need to find out where those cries are coming from," she declared, glancing at Lily, whose eyes mirrored the same determination. "Ginger, find it," Lily called out, as if her words alone could summon their four-legged companion's strength. With a sudden burst of energy, Ginger darted ahead into the murky shadows, nose to the ground, sniffing intently. The urgency was palpable. "Let us move," Emily urged, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down around them. The rain splashed against their faces, but the chill was nothing compared to the warmth of their shared goal. As they followed Ginger into the depths of the park, Emily scanned the area, straining her ears to pinpoint the direction of the plea for help. Then came another cry, sharper, closer, cutting through the rain like a knife. "Help! Someone please!" Emily picked up her pace, her heart pounding louder than the storm. "This way!" she called out, needing no other encouragement. Lily squeezed her mother's hand tightly. "I'm scared, Mommy," she confessed, her voice trembling, but it was laced with bravery too. "I know. But we're together and we're going to help," Emily reassured her, steeling herself. Each step forward began feeling like a step away from fear and a step closer to hope. Suddenly, Ginger stopped again at the foot of an old oak tree, panting lightly. "What is it, girl?" the father asked, noticing the dog's alert posture. Then they saw it. Nested among the exposed roots of the tree sat a small boy, hugging his knees to his chest, tears streaming down his dirt-smeared face. He looked up, eyes wide and full of fear. "Mom!" he cried, and Emily felt a sharp pull at her heart. The boy's voice was raw with despair. "Hey there, buddy," she said, trying to sound steady. She knelt down like she had with the other girl, offering her warmth. "We're here to take you back to her. Can you tell us your name?" "I'm Ben," he choked out, wiping rain from his face with an arm that was trembling. "Ben," Emily repeated softly. "Just hold on. We are going to get you out of here." How long had Ben been out there? What had he seen? As they attempted to lift Ben out from his hiding spot, Emily noticed movement in the distance, dark shapes flickering like shadows in the rain. It sent an icy chill through her. "We need to hurry," she urged. "Can you walk?" Ben nodded, extending his hand to Emily as her heart intertwined with his fear. She turned to Lily, who was now holding the other girl protectively. "Stay close, all of you," Emily instructed firmly, gazing at the father. "Let us get them home." But as they moved, an unsettling thought crept into Emily's mind. If there were more children in the park, who or what was still out in the dark? She shuddered, feeling the weight of their journey grow heavier. In that moment a sharp bark rang out, and before anyone could process the sound, Ginger ran towards the shadows, her stance a mix of bravery and caution. "Ginger, wait!" Emily shouted, knowing they couldn't afford to lose their guide. But with every passing moment, the rain seemed to thicken, whispering secrets and wrapping shadows tighter around them. What lies ahead? Emily wondered, pulse quickening. Emily took a deep breath as she felt the weight of Ben's small hand in hers. "Let us go," she whispered firmly, pushing back the rising tide of worry flooding her mind. Together they moved, every step a symbol of their resolve against the storm around them. The rain continued to hammer down, relentless and cold, but Emily's determination felt like a beacon through the darkness. "Mommy," Ben's voice trembled, a quiet plea that tore at Emily's heart. "I want to go home." "We're going to get you back to her, sweetheart," Emily promised. But her words felt like fragile glass against the harsh reality. A part of her was terrified that they wouldn't make it. Just then Lily spoke up, her eyes wide. "Look, there's Ginger." Ginger had returned to them, her tail wagging as if the beating rain and shadows didn't frighten her at all. Emily couldn't help but smile, and the sight of the brave dog reminded them all that hope was still alive in this storm. "Good girl, Ginger," Emily praised, giving the dog a quick scratch behind the ears. Ginger barked, her voice ringing out with unyielding heart, urging them to follow her again. As they pressed on, the ground beneath their feet grew uneven. Thick mud pulled at their shoes, slowing their progress and weighing down their spirits. Emily glanced back at the father, the worry lines etched deep in his face as he held his daughter tightly, shielding her from the rain. "What if they're still out there?" he called, panic creeping back into his voice. "Then we'll find them," Emily said resolutely, her own fear transforming into strength. "But first we need to get these kids home." The echoes of their footsteps blended with the pounding rain, creating a rhythm of urgency. Suddenly, a distant rustling caught Emily's attention. It came from the thick bushes lining the path, a shiver of instinct rippling down her spine. "Did you hear that?" she asked, scanning the darkened edges of the park. Lily nodded, gripping the other girl's hand tighter. "What if it's more kids? And what if it's not?" the father muttered, narrowing his eyes at the shadows that danced in the stormy haze. "Stay close. Ginger, go check," Emily instructed, her heart pounding. With a determined bark, Ginger dashed into the thicket, the shadows swallowing her momentarily. Emily felt a surge of anxiety grip her. Where was their dog going? Was she safe? The seconds stretched into an eternity, every heartbeat thunderous in her ears. Just when panic threatened to overtake her, Ginger burst back from the shadows, tail wagging furiously, her eyes bright with excitement. She found something. Lily cheered, her fear momentarily forgotten. "Let us see," Emily said, pushing through the thicket where Ginger had emerged. As they followed the dog's lead, the trees bowed low with the weight of the rain, branches clawing at them in the growing tension. And then they spotted another small figure, curled up and shivering like Ben had been just moments before. Emily's breath caught in her throat. The sight brought a rush of both hope and fear. There could be more kids out here, more lives intertwined with their own perilous journey. "Is that another one?" she whispered, her heart soaring and breaking all at once. As she stepped closer, the figure lifted its head, eyes wide and glistening with unshed tears. But just like that, a low growl emanated from the shadows behind them, sending chills down her spine. What was lurking there? A part of her screamed to turn and run, while another part urged her to brave the unknown for the sake of the children. Could they do this? Could they face whatever was waiting behind them? As fear took hold and time seemed to freeze, she realized there was no turning back now. Emily's heart raced like the thunder rumbling overhead. She could feel the tension in the air, heavy and electric, as she turned back to the small figure nestled in the mud. Was it really just another child, or something else entirely? The growl seemed to ripple through her, intertwining her urgency with dread. "Stay close, everyone," she urged, her commanding voice breaking the silence. She needed to keep the children safe, to shield them from whatever darkness lurked behind the trees. Ginger stood firm, ears perked, ready to defend them. The figure finally moved, revealing the soft features of a little girl, maybe 5 or 6, her wide, frightened eyes flickering between Emily and the growling sound. Rain dripped from her hair and ran down her cheeks, blurring the lines of her small face. Emily knelt down, hoping to project calmness. "Hey there, sweetie. What's your name?" Annie, the girl whispered, shivering more from fear than from cold. "It's okay, Annie. We're here to help you." Emily's heart melted at the sight of her. She extended a hand, palm up, inviting the girl to come closer. "Mommy," Annie whimpered, glancing back towards the shadows. The growls sounded again, harsher this time, an urgent warning that spurred Emily into action. "Annie, we need to get you out of here. Can you walk on your own?" She held her breath, praying the answer would be yes. Annie nodded, and with great effort, she forced herself to her feet, unsteady but willing. With Ginger leading the way, Emily reached out to take her hand. "Good girl," she whispered, voice steady. "Just stick with us, we'll keep you safe." As they moved, the growling intensified, and Emily felt eyes upon them. She turned her head toward the sound, squinting into the heavy rain, searching for signs of danger. The father with Lily clutched them all together, shifting nervously. "What is it?" he hissed under his breath, his voice taut with worry. "I don't know," Emily replied quietly, focusing on keeping Annie close. "But we can't stop now." Another deep growl echoed, more insistent. The bushes rustled nearby, and without warning, a large figure leaped out. Emily gasped, a primal instinct urging her to shield the children. But it was just a deer, wet and frightened, bolting through the thicket as it fled from the storm. Relief washed over her, even as fear bubbled within. "Let us keep moving." She pushed ahead, her voice confident despite her pounding heart. They trudged through the mud, inch by inch, and Emily stole glances at Annie. The little girl's face was pale, but a flicker of determination shone in her eyes, mirroring that of her new protector. "Is your mommy nearby?" Emily asked gently, hoping for reassurances. "I think I was following a butterfly," Annie said, her voice wavering. Emily's heart sank. While they pressed forward, the rain showed no sign of letting up. It pelted down harder, blinding them at times. The path twisted and turned, and with every step, the landscape felt more ominous, more alive. Behind, Ginger paused every so often, sniffing the air like she sensed something else. Emily reached down to scratch her head, grateful for her steady presence. "What is it, girl?" Before she could digest the answer, a new sound broke through the cacophony of the storm, high-pitched cries echoing faintly through the downpour. "Is that another child?" Lily's voice trembled, her eyes wide with alarm. "We can't leave anyone behind," Emily breathed, drawing in a deep breath, gathering her courage. Another wave of fear rolled through her, but she pushed it down, unwilling to let it take hold. "Stay together," Emily commanded, her voice rising with conviction. A part of her was terrified, but the other part, the part fueled by love and desperation, would not let go. The distant cries grew louder, tugging at their hearts. Who else was out there in the storm, frightened and alone? Every step pulled them closer to the source, but the shadows loomed heavy once again. Her heart thumped wildly in her chest. This could be the moment that changed everything, but what would they find waiting for them? The echoes of the cries grew, merging with the pounding rain like a heart thrumming with fear and urgency. Each footfall felt heavier as Emily and the group pressed onward, their desperate trek through the downpour refusing to relent. Lily tugged at her father's jacket, her voice barely rising above the storm. "Emily, what if it's too late?" Doubt seeped into her words, a mirror to the fear that gnawed at Emily's own heart. She could feel the weight of those words, each syllable a reminder of the dangers lurking in the heavy darkness. "It's never too late to help," Emily replied, although her own conviction was wavering. She steadied her breathing, forcing herself to remain the brave front. Annie squeezed her hand tightly, those little fingers full of trust that reinforced Emily's resolve. "Keep moving," she called, determined to mask the uncertainty. Just ahead, she noticed a gap in the thicket. The cries had become more distinct, urgent and high-pitched, laced with a desperation that forced her to push through the tangled underbrush. As she broke through, the sight before her made her gasp. A small boy, not older than 3, was huddled against a tree trunk, soaked and shivering, with tears streaking his muddy face. "Mommy!" he wailed, his voice cracking in the turmoil. "Bobby!" Annie cried, releasing Emily's hand and stumbling forward, her little legs struggling against the powerful wind and rain. Emily knew they had to act fast. It wasn't just the weather they were up against. The shadows felt alive, and that spine-chilling growl, now distant but lingering, reminded her of impending danger. "Stay with me, Annie," Emily called out, surging forward to scoop up the boy. He clung to her, panicking, his body trembling. "It's okay, Bobby. We're here now." She felt the heat of his fear, raw and tangible. She hooked one arm around him while taking Annie's hand again with her other, drawing them both close. The children's cries of desperation echoed against the relentless rain. And in that moment, Emily's heart split wide open. She was a mother, a protector, and at that moment she felt the weight of every child in the world resting on her shoulders. "We'll find your mom, I promise," she whispered, trying to imbue her words with as much warmth as the storm would allow. But as they turned to retrace their steps, a shadow flitted through the trees, catching Emily's eye. This time it wasn't just a deer or any common animal. It was something larger, creeping closer. She felt the shift in the air, the unmistakable tension before danger struck. Ginger stood poised, growling softly, her body tense, ready to act. "What is it, girl?" Emily asked, but deep down she knew. The air crackled like static, and hysteria threatened to bubble over. "Emily!" Lily yelped, pointing towards the edge of the thicket. "Look!" Emerging from the shadows was not a creature, but a gang of heavy-set men hunched beneath the shelter of trees, their faces obscured by hoods. Emily's breath caught in her throat, fear spiraled inside her, making her skin prickle. "Back, everyone," Emily ordered, her heart pounding as she positioned herself in front of the children. Protecting them was her only thought. She took a deep breath, resounding courage within her, desperate to find a way out. "Who are they?" Bobby whimpered, his chubby fingers clutching her shirt. She didn't have an answer. The cries of those seeking safety were drowned out now by an impending storm of a different sort. The shadows were closing in, and with every instinct telling her to retreat, she stood her ground, ready to face whatever was coming. But would bravery alone be enough against whatever darkness lurked behind those men? As the figures moved closer, Emily prepared herself for the confrontation ahead, her heart pounding like thunder in her ears. In that fleeting moment she thought of safety, of home, and all that she might lose. Would she be able to protect her makeshift family from this new menace? The moment of truth was upon them. Emily's heart raced, every breath coming in sharp bursts as the men approached. Their faces were still shrouded, but the chill in the air hinted at danger. She tightened her grip around Bobby and Annie, feeling their small bodies quiver against hers. Ginger, sensing the tension, bared her teeth, low growls rumbling from deep within her throat. This was not the time for fear. Emily could feel the electricity in the air, like the world was holding its breath, waiting for either chaos or clarity. She had to think, had to act. "Listen to me," she said, her voice steady and fierce despite the situation. "We can't let them take our fear. We need to stay united." The kids looked up at her, eyes wide, searching for a glimmer of hope among the shadows. Suddenly, one of the men called out, his voice gruff and commanding. "You there! Let the boy go. He doesn't belong to you." The animosity in his tone sliced through the rain, layering on tension thick as the storm clouds surrounding them. "No, he's just a child. He's lost," Emily shouted back, every ounce of protective instinct surging within her. She turned to the kids, shielding them as best as she could. "Ginger, stay close," she commanded, and the dog edged nearer, barking defiantly. The men stopped, their stance shifting slightly. It was as if they were considering the situation, weighing their options under the trifecta of rain, fear, and uncertainty. "Step aside, and we won't have any trouble," another man warned. His voice dripped with the kind of menace that made the hair on Emily's arms stand on end. Emily felt a flicker of something, deep inside, bravery and desperation dancing together. "What kind of trouble are you after?" she shot back. "There's no reason for any violence here." Behind her, Bobby shifted, and she felt his little heart beating with fear, his fingers squeezing her shirt tighter. "Emily, I want my mommy," he whimpered. "We'll get to her, Bobby," she whispered, her voice low and soothing. But even she wasn't sure how this would end. It was the fear of the unknown that clawed at her heart. Before she could react, one of the men took a step forward, his eyes narrowing as he raised a hand. "Enough games. Move aside," or the clapping thunder above them seemed to mirror the intense tension growing in the narrow thicket. Then in a blur of motion, Ginger lunged ahead, barking with the ferocity of a seasoned guardian. The sudden noise startled the men, momentarily breaking their focus. "Now!" Emily shouted, every instinct screaming for action. She grabbed Annie with one hand and Bobby with the other, sprinting into the thick underbrush, praying the kids could keep pace with her. Branches whipped at their faces, each step a race against the darkness chasing them. "Where do we go?" Annie cried, panic rising in her voice. "I'm not sure, but we have to find somewhere safe," Emily replied, urgency clawing at her throat. The shouts of the men erupted behind them, their angry voices echoing through the rain. But Emily didn't look back. She could feel it, the warmth of determination blooming within her. She was their shield, their path forward. As they stumbled into a small clearing, Emily noticed faint shapes in the shadows, abandoned cabins from what once might have been a thriving camp. They could hide there, but the suspense hung thick in the air. "Quick!" she urged, ushering the kids toward the nearest cabin. With her heart pounding in her chest, she felt the adrenaline carrying her. But as they reached the door, it creaked open slowly. A figure stood there, silhouetted against flickering candlelight, their face hidden in shadow. "Who's there?" she called, the mix of fear and hope swelling inside her. The moment felt fragile, like a single wrong move could send everything crashing down. Just as confusion blanketed the air, the figure stepped forward, illuminating a familiar face. But was Emily ready for the truth of what lay beyond? The figure stepped into the faint light, revealing a face that momentarily sent a jolt of recognition through Emily. It was Sarah, an old friend from her days before the world changed, before survival became a daily mantra. Emily felt her heart skip, hope flickering like a dying candle. "Sarah," she gasped, her voice slipping out in disbelief. "What are you doing here?" "Emily." Sarah's face broke into a smile, relief washing over her features. It was briefly contagious, but it was cut short by the shouts of the men pursuing them. The urgency brought Emily back to reality with a force that made her stomach churn. "Quick, come inside." Sarah moved aside, allowing them through the threshold. The cabin was dimly lit and cluttered, filled with remnants of a life long abandoned. Dust had settled everywhere, but it felt safe, not like the shadowy woods outside. "Are there more of them?" Sarah asked, glancing out the window as Emily ushered Bobby and Annie in. She could see fear in Sarah's eyes, a reflection of the panic that was swirling around in Emily's mind. "I don't know. They were after Bobby. They think he belongs to them," Emily replied, her heart heavy as she wrapped her arms protectively around the kids. They had curled up close to her, still trembling. "Stay low then," Sarah instructed, her voice low and steady as she peered outside. "If they come looking, we need to be ready." Emily nodded, but she could feel a flicker of doubt gnawing at her. Would they truly be safe here? As if sensing her uncertainty, Ginger moved closer to the children, as if to offer them a shield of warmth. "Why are you here, Sarah?" Emily pressed, trying to regain her focus. "What happened? We thought everyone was gone." A dark shadow passed over Sarah's features as she turned back inside. "I've been trying to help people who are lost like you. There are groups out there, survivors, but also those who prey on weakness. I thought I could make a difference." "By yourself?" Emily felt a mixture of admiration and worry surge within her. They were stronger together, but the isolation had taken its toll. "Not just me," Sarah's voice softened. "I've met others, a small group. We've been scouting the area to protect survivors. We know how to hide." Annie looked up, curiosity sparkled in her wide eyes. "Can we stay with you? We want to help too." Emily's heart warmed hearing her daughter's brave enthusiasm, but she felt the weight of responsibility crashing down over her. They were so young, but they also needed to feel useful in this harsh reality. "Let us focus on staying safe for now," Emily replied, her voice firm. "If we get through tonight, we'll talk about what we can do." The sound of shuffling boots outside jolted Emily's heart into a sprint. She turned to Sarah, the weight of their circumstance burying deep inside her again. "What do we do if they find us?" Sarah met her gaze, determination coiling in her stance. "We fight. We protect each other." Just as she said it, a loud bang echoed against the door, jolting them all. The men's voices boomed outside, angry threats cutting through the dim shelter. "They're here," Emily whispered, fear rising like bile in her throat. She crouched down beside the kids while Sarah pulled out a small weapon, her hands steady but eyes wide. "Just remember," Sarah said, the flicker of candlelight catching on her face, "no matter what happens we stick together. We're stronger united." Emily felt a surge of hope mixed with the terror. It was a lifeline in the storm of doubt that had engulfed her since they ran into the forest. Another crash against the door made the kids whimper, and Emily squeezed them tighter, doubt creeping in. Could they really find a way through this? The door rattled violently once more, as if demons were clawing their way inside. Suddenly the door gave way, splintering open. What came next would take all the strength she could muster. Would they see the dawn after this night? The door burst open, splintering the wood, and shadows entered. The angry men looming like storm clouds filled the small cabin. Emily's heart raced, a drumbeat of fear and determination pounding in her chest. The cabin felt like a fragile bubble, and she clutched the children close, drawing strength from their innocent trust. "Get out!" one of the men bellowed, eyes dark and predatory. "This doesn't belong to you. Please listen." Emily's voice rose with desperate urgency. "They're just kids. They need us." The men hesitated, momentarily taken aback by the fierce love radiating from her. But a moment was all it was. "Grab them," the leader snarled, pushing forward. Without thinking, Emily stepped in front of the kids, an unyielding shield made of pure instinct and love. "You will not touch them," she shouted, defiance sparking shades of courage within her. "Why are you protecting them? They aren't yours." One man scoffed, his sneer dripping with disdain, but her resolve only deepened. "No," Emily countered, her voice steady. "They're like my own. Families stick together no matter what." For a split second, surprise flickered in the men's eyes, and just then, from the corner of her vision, she saw Ginger rise, a formation of unwavering loyalty, barking fiercely. It felt like a rallying cry, a reminder that all of this was for love and hope. In the chaos of emotions swirling between fear and bravery, Emily sensed the warmth of community gathering through the storm, even amidst strangers. But then the air shifted, and the leader lunged toward her. In that heartbeat, time froze. Suddenly, Sarah stepped forward, brandishing a makeshift weapon. "You want them? You'll have to go through me," she shouted, her voice fierce. With unexpected strength, she created an opening, shifting the dynamics in their favor. "Get ready." The booming voices of the men intensified, but Emily's heart was clear and strong. "Children, be brave. We're not alone." As the scene unfolded, another flash of desperation struck. "We won't let fear win. Ginger, find them," Emily called. Unexpectedly, Ginger surged past Emily, straight at the men. The dog was a whirlwind of fur and spirit, barking ferociously. Distracted, the men stumbled back, and Emily seized this moment, pushing the kids toward the far wall, her voice calm. "Stay down. Trust in each other. We can do this." The men were reeling. Emily's heart raced. This was it, the moment to turn the tide. "Together," she prompted. She caught Sarah's eyes, strength feeding off one another. In a swift movement, Sarah launched toward the fray while Emily stood her ground, mind a flurry of thoughts about safety and hope. The roar of the storm faded into the background, leaving only the bond that now coursed through her veins, a fierce, untamed energy born from unwavering love and unyielding resolve. Then came the sound of newcomers approaching, the crackle of twigs breaking and footsteps splashing through puddles. It was a group of the community, armed with flashlights and determined grins. The neighborhood had come to rally behind them. "Get back," one of them shouted, pointing directly at the intruders with an air of authority. "You don't belong here." Emily's heart leapt. With each moment, togetherness bloomed. "We're not afraid," she shouted alongside her neighbors. "You will not take our hope." With their spirits rising, the men hesitated, their bravado faltering in the face of collective strength. Just as it seemed the storm thundering outside might drown them all, the men exchanged uncertain glances and stumbled backward, retreating into the dark shadows. "Keep them safe," one of the new arrivals barked. They organized themselves, forming a protective circle around Emily and the children. The power of the community rang like a bell, sending those shadows fleeing back into the night. As the men disappeared into the storm, Emily dropped to her knees, cradling Bobby and Annie, tears rushing down her cheeks like the rain. "We did it," she breathed, hope flooding her heart. "You're safe." Lily, still gripping Ginger's fur, beamed through her tears. "We helped." We stood together. Emily looked around at the faces of her neighbors. Relief, camaraderie, and unshakable trust filled the cabin. In those moments, they were no longer just a collection of families battling a chaotic world. They were a community, forged through kindness and love, standing proud against fear. "Let us get everyone home," Sarah said, the steel in her voice reflecting hope and strength anew. As they stepped outside, the storm had begun to calm. The dark clouds drifted away, revealing a mere trickle of stars. Under that vast expanse, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose and belonging. Every shadow they faced only strengthened their bonds, illuminating the power of family and the courage of the shared journey. "Ginger, you were magnificent," Emily praised the dog, who wagged her tail with delight. "We all were," Sarah said, her smile bright against the clearing night. Together, hand in hand, they began the walk back home, an unbreakable chain of hope and loyalty connecting each of their hearts, a testament to love's resilience and an inspiring future waiting for them just ahead. And that's how their journey transformed, from fear into faith, from darkness into light. Each of them, once lost in their own shadows, now illuminated the path to something greater. Together. Now, before you go on your own journeys of love and bravery, don't forget to subscribe immediately to the channel. You need to hit that bell so you won't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support future adventures. Your support matters. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. How does this transformation resonate with you? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You can inspire them too. This is the moment to show your support. Let's stand together.